So you would have noticed something very interesting. The media houses are obviously posting news about like the struggles of international students in the US, how bad the job market is, what kind of visa pressure they are going through, and unfair practices, deportation, etc. But you will see that not much is getting posted on social media by those students directly. And the reason is simple. They cannot post these things on the social media because Trump administration is keeping a very close eye on all these visa holders, and they can revoke their visas on the grounds that all these posts are anti-American sentiment. So this is one of the new clause that Trump government has said, that you have to keep your social media public all the while you are staying in the US. So they will not really tell you the real picture on the social media. But at the same time, I feel the media houses and the news outlets, etc., they also post more of the negative news selectively. So what I did was I talked to 4 or 5 of my own clients who have gone to US in last 3 to 4 years and talked to them about, like, what's happening on the ground, what are they feeling, what are they going through, what kind of stories are they hearing, etc. In this video, I just want to share what these students have told me. So this will help you get a more realistic picture of what's going on in the US, what it can mean for your plans, etc. All this on the other side of the intro. Keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Nishtha from Scholar Strategy and 24 North Star. I try to post most authentic news and updates about study abroad, career planning, education, job markets, etc. all around the world, specifically for Indian students, specifically for STEM students. And today's video is important. I want to talk about what updates I have found from my own students and what is the ground reality of things that are happening in the US. If you're finding these posts useful, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Alright, so today I want to talk about 5 points. First is, what is the funding situation in the US? Second is visa sponsorships. Third is placements in niche fields. Fourth is cost of living. And fifth is who is winning, who is actually able to manage all this situation and come out on the winning side in the end. So let's talk about these one by one so that you can get a more realistic picture. I want to start first with the funding situation. And the biggest shocking update here is that funding cuts are real. They are impacting the students directly. So I have this report from multiple students across different universities that universities are now hesitating to give out full TA-ship or RA-ship offers to the students. Getting assistantships like teaching assistantship or research assistantship has been the biggest source of funding in the US universities. This is how I studied in UIUC for free. This is how many of our clients have studied in US universities for free. Because when you get 100% TA-ship or RA-ship offer, it involves a 20 hours per week kind of work. And if you are in an engineering or a STEM or a thesis-based program, then this includes a full tuition waiver along with a hourly stipend that you earn for your work. Now what universities are doing, because they cannot afford it due to the funding cuts, so they are restricting these assistantships to maximum 10 hours per week, and this does not include the tuition waiver now. Now tuition waiver was the big attraction about these assistantship because that is the major component of your expenditure in US. So if these assistantships do not include the tuition waiver, that means they are not as beneficial. You get only like monthly stipend, which will, yes, cover your living cost sort of thing, but you will still have to pay your tuition. So that is obviously not a good news. And this is happening because Trump has cut a lot of academic and research funding at NIH, which is the National Institutes of Health, and NSF, which is the National Science Foundation. Now we have seen a cut of $2.3 billion in new research grants to NIH, and around 700 scientific research projects at NSF have been shelved because of this funding cut. And this is how it impacts the universities. Because of this funding cut, at Columbia University alone, around 800 NIH grants have been revoked. This directly impacts the departments of biomedical lab projects, healthcare related positions, etc. So obviously the university will not be able to fund TA-RA-ship that they could using this funding money. Secondly, we are hearing a lot of cuts at Johns Hopkins universities directly because of a 800 million grant cut across NIH and US aid grants. Now, when I was working at UIUC, I had the RA-ship, and my funding was coming from an NSF grant itself. So what happens is NSF gives these grants to professors at the graduate schools, and then they hire graduate students to perform the research, and their stipend money, the tuition waiver money, etc., everything comes from that grant money. So because NSF grants are also cut, specifically at University of California's, we are seeing around 600 million have been cut in these grants. This again impacts many departments, but mainly I'm hearing it is impacting healthcare, biomedical, bioinformatics kind of departments. Also, we have heard obviously a lot of cuts at Harvard University, and this includes around 450 million worth of multi-agency grants. So yes, some universities have been impacted more than the others, but overall every university is feeling the brunt of these funding cuts, and they are likely to sponsor lesser number of TA-ships and RA-ships in the coming year. So this is something you need to be aware of, because this is unprecedented cuts and this is a historic shift which we are seeing in the funding situation in the US university. Second point I want to talk about is the visa sponsorship anxiety, because a lot of students are reporting that as soon as they put the sponsorship requirement in their job applications, they are automatically getting rejected. So visa sponsorship anxiety is almost at its peak this year. There have been surveys among big tech recruiters in Silicon Valley and NYC finance sectors that reveal that around 30 to 40% of companies are now outrighting rejecting candidates who mention H1B sponsorship upfront during the applications or interviews. But there's no way around this. I mean, I wouldn't recommend lying about your sponsorship requirement, but this is a harsh reality that companies have been given the mandate, and this is coming from, like, the hiring managers and directors at these companies that I talk to, that they have to be extra careful and they have to give real reasons for why are they sponsoring international talent, and they can do that only if they can't fill that position via somebody who does not need that kind of sponsorship. Additionally, I'm even hearing that some firms are employing AI driven resume screening tools, which might start detecting that this person can require a sponsorship in future. So obviously this is not yet fully verified, but this can very well happen by looking at your background or, like, academic history, etc. These tools can predict that you might need sponsorship, and companies might be more wary of hiring such candidates. So this again is, like, it means that no matter how good your academics are, no matter how good your resume is, you will still feel this massive hurdle because companies are wary of sponsoring anybody right now. Third point I want to talk about is niche fields and how's the placement situation there. So the reality is that you will obviously have more struggle if you're heading for a niche field. So I talked to a student who has graduated from Georgia Tech from their bioinformatics course, and this is a person who was fairly articulate. Her resume is strong. She had some, like, experience in India before she went for her masters. But the reality is that last year she applied for 300 plus places for internship, but she got zero offers. So she did something on in summer that is, like, just on campus kind of thing, no real experience in US, and now she is struggling for a full-time role. Her OPT clock has already started. Now Georgia Tech is a big name, and this person was definitely articulate, definitely had clarity of what she was looking for, and seemed intelligent enough. But if these kind of people are also struggling, then that gives you a glimpse of how tough the job market really is. Now I do understand that fields like bioinformatics, healthcare related, biomedical engineering, etc., are going to suffer a bit more, because as we discussed, all the NIH, NSF funding cuts are impacting the research positions as well. Now the saving grace here is that the person knows that, like, a lot of jobs in these fields are actually coming from the H1B cap exempt employers. So research labs, universities, hospitals, etc., hire some of these positions. So she is also trying to find that, but yeah, no luck so far, and only 30% of her class was actually placed when we talked last time. Second field I want to cover is the field of design, because I've talked to 2 to 3 students here, and yes, the struggle again here is real, because there are very few formal job postings, and many a times you're applying to the jobs on LinkedIn, and because of the sponsorship situation you are not getting the calls, etc. So only one person I know who has really cracked a very, very good, like, job offer in design, and she was even lucky to get H1B this year. She actually graduated from CMU, but the whole truth is that she was able to find this position just because she was very strong at the networking game. She's super articulate, super intelligent, plus she also had 2 to 3 years of experience before she went for her masters. And this is something that was missing in that Georgia Tech bioinformatics student. She was actually a fresher. She had some internships back in India, but in US especially, she has not been able to crack, and I think the lack of work experience could be one of the factors. So this design student, on the other hand, is an experienced person. She knew how to leverage her networks. Of course, she also faced a really, really hard time, but she was eventually able to find a position. On the other hand, I talked to a student from Northeastern HCI program, and they have not had the luck so far. So in these niche fields, I think you have to be extra careful. You will have to hustle on your own. Companies are not going to come on campus and hand you a job on the platter and leave apart, like, finding a H1B sponsored job in this. So I think niche fields have their own struggle. And if I talk about cybersecurity also, because that is something I've been bullish on, but the reality is that, like, especially in this environment, finding a sponsorship is extremely difficult in cybersecurity, because there are security clearance limits, and companies are not mostly hiring international students. So cybersecurity, if you're heading for that, again, be wary of that. So in niche fields, find out the situation about your field, and please make a decision more in a well-informed manner. Now let's talk about the fourth point, which is the cost of living. And yes, inflation is starting to hurt people now. Living costs have surged dramatically since pre-pandemic days. We have reports that rent prices have jumped over 67% in Boston since 2021. So apartment that costed $1,200 per month, you have to now pay $2,100 per month for it. And in SF, the spike is even higher. People are reporting an average increase of 80% in the rental prices. Many people, students and professionals, have actually reported that they are not able to afford living in San Francisco anymore, and they are trying to move to suburbs, find ways to, like, just reduce their monthly costs. Groceries have risen around 25% nationally since pre-COVID, and this is not just normal inflation. This has also to do something with the tariffs that Trump imposed this year. And let's not forget that US dollar is becoming expensive day by day. So if you took an education loan in India, it might be becoming more expensive for you. I just hope you start earning soon, so that the dollar power can actually work in your favor. Lastly, let's talk about who's winning in this bad job market, because I like to end my videos on a positive note. So I want to share this story of one of our clients who went to attend the CMU MRST program. It's the robotics program. It's almost one of the best robotics program in the whole world. Very, very competitive, very hard to get in. And this person is obviously having a solid profile. He was a mechanical engineering student from one of the NITs, and he had RA-ship at ISC previously. He had two solid publications. So very, very good research profile. Now, the reason I'm sharing his story is because he's one of those rare few students who was able to get an internship pretty easily this year. This year has been exceptionally tough. So if somebody has been able to find an internship easily, it means there is something going on. So I asked him, how did he find it? And he told me that it was through the CMU alumni group, and there are many seniors in there who are maybe founder of startups or working at these robotics companies, and they keep posting about the job openings. He applied to one such role and he got in, and this was a very, very good profile. So I'm super happy for him. And this also probably goes on to show that obviously one CMU's MRST program is extremely selective, so very, very few people get in. So the kind of alumni group, the senior group, they are supporting each other, they are rooting for each other, so that kind of camaraderie is there. And secondly, robotics also, I feel like it's being in the right place at the right time. The industry is just taking off, so the right kind of talent will benefit immensely over next few years. So as you are going for your higher education, do figure out where you stand in the spectrum in this particular domain. Can you be in the top 1%? Because if you can be, then there is no dearth of opportunities. Okay, so those were some insider perspective from some of the people I talked to in US. I hope it gives you a more truer picture of what's going on, what's working, what's not working, and what kind of posts would you like to see from me in future, and I would try to make those up. Obviously, if this was helpful, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps me. So I will see you guys next week with a fresh new video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.